Hi, Coach Kammer here. One of the ways we go on offense on our comeback is to notice and laugh at how selfish and self-centered women can sometimes be. And we satirize some of their more outlandish plays. We'll have a little fun like that coming up next on Our Comeback. In 1998, the woman who wrote a play called The Vagina Monologues declared that February 14th was no longer Valentine's Day. Henceforth, it would be celebrated as V-Day. The V in this proclamation stands for violence, but only men's violence against women, no mention at all of women's violence against men. V stood for victory, women's victory over male oppression, of course, and yes, you guessed it, V for vagina. So the day whose icon was a big red heart and whose focus was the celebration of romantic love was banished and replaced with a day whose theme is men's badness and women's wonderful vagina. So since the heart was replaced by the vagina, yours truly sponsored a contest for the best parody of the Tin Man song in The Wizard of Oz. Except now, instead of wishing he had a heart, he's thinking it would be even better to have a V.
Lately I've been contemplating the pros and cons of dating, what is and shouldn't be. In my mind, a thought's been brewing just how easy I'd be doing if I only had a V. As a man, I have my member, but I just can't remember when dinner dates were free. And now I've just accepted I might have a new perspective if I only had a V. I would not be called a gawker, could not be called a stalker, and that's just fine with me. I could be so flirtatious, everyone would be so gracious if I only had a V. Oh, I might like to shop. You know, I never have before. At the mall, I stroll through each and every store and never know what I'm shopping for. And when I'm not doing my best, I blame it on PMS. You'd have to pardon me. Everyone would find it useless not to accept my excuses if I only had a V. Oh, I could fantasize how I've been so oppressed, how it's so unfair, my whole life's such a mess. And then I'd go out and buy a dress. I'd complain all men were brutal, how fighting them is futile, but really, don't you see? I'd ignore all the catcalls, no, I have them all by the balls if I only had a V. I'd say a penis, who needs it? I wouldn't have to beat it. I'd know that spring's eternal. I'm giving up the urinal, 'cause there'd be nothing finer than to talk about my vagina. If I only had a V. If I only had a V. If I only had a V. If I only had a V.